Welcome to 101 Random Facts that will blow your mind. Smash that like button, and let's begin. Number 1. Aurora Rodriguez Carbalera, a self-taught mother with no formal schooling, set out in 1914 to engineer a prodigy, her daughter, Hildegard. She micromanaged every aspect of the girl's upbringing, teaching at a relentless pace and shaping her as a social project. The ultimate helicopter parent, Aurora's controlling experiment produced dazzling academic results. Yet it also seeded a tragic obsession that would later eclipse maternal love and end in catastrophe. Number 2. By age 2, Hildegard was already reading, an outcome of Aurora's intensive early instruction. Flashcards, dictated lessons, and constant drills transformed toddlerhood into a classroom. While most children were just developing language, she parsed sentences and devoured pages. The feat showcased both the plasticity of a young brain and the extraordinary pressure of a parent who measured childhood not in playdates and naps, but in milestones and measurable outputs. Number 3. Before turning 9, Hildegard had mastered 4 languages. Aurora's curriculum emphasized grammar, translation, and conversation across multiple tongues, training her daughter to think in parallel linguistic tracks. Polyglot fluency opened doors to books, debates, and correspondence with adults far beyond her years. It also reinforced a life defined by performance, where multilingual excellence wasn't enrichment, but baseline expectation in a household run like a one-pupil academy. Number 4. At 13, Hildegard entered law school, an age when most peers were tackling early algebra. The leap into higher education reflected not only raw intellect, but Aurora's relentless acceleration, skipping typical adolescence to position her daughter among adults, professors, and professional discourse. The precocity amazed observers and served as proof of concept for Aurora's methods, even as it narrowed Hildegard's chance to discover who she might be on her own terms. Number 5. By 18, Hildegard had completed university and was promoted to professor, an astonishing ascent that capped a decade of extreme tutelage. Lecturing while barely past legal adulthood, she embodied the promise of engineered genius. Yet the title couldn't insulate her from the costs of control at home. The same system that fast-tracked her achievements also constrained her freedom, with motherhood and mentorship fused into a single suffocating authority. Number 6. At 19, Hildegard tried to break free and live independently. For Aurora, this wasn't a normal rite of passage. It was rebellion against a lifelong design. The daughter's desire for autonomy clashed with the mother's grand plan, revealing how fragile their arrangement truly was. What looked like a triumphant academic narrative became a psychological standoff, dreams of self-determination colliding with a parent's need to own the outcome. Number 7. The story's darkest turn came when Aurora, unable to accept separation, killed Hildegard. It's the ultimate expression of possessiveness. If the daughter wouldn't belong to her, no one would. The tragedy reframed every earlier success as evidence of control rather than care. Genius fostered under coercion proved unsustainable, and a promising life, carefully cultivated, rigorously scheduled, ended not through failure, but through the catastrophic success of obsession. Number 8. Flash cash trader. In 2010's flash crash, a London day trader named Vindra Singh Saro, living with his parents, used spoofing, placing huge fake E-mini S&P 500 futures orders without intent to execute. Algorithms and traders read the phantom supply as panic. Prices plunged nearly 1,000 points, and almost $1 trillion in value briefly evaporated. When Saro canceled, he profited amid chaos, exposing fragile, feedback loop risks in modern markets. Number 9. Globetrotters' unexpected loss. On January 5, 1971, in Martin, Tennessee, the Washington Generals, perennial foils, played too seriously and beat the Harlem Globetrotters 100-9, yes, according to the account. The upset shattered the show's scripted rhythm. Rehearsed celebrations died on the bench, crowds booed in disbelief, and players looked stunned. The night spotlighted how an exhibition's magic depends on mutual performance, and how shocking it is when the losers forget their role. Number 10. Gibraltar forgot it was a city for 180 years. Queen Victoria reportedly granted city status in 1842, complete with royal celebration. Then someone botched the paperwork. The designation never reached the official registry, leaving Gibraltar in bureaucratic limbo until 2022, when Jubilee Reviews rediscovered the decree. The rediscovery was equal parts comic and revealing, a reminder that history can hide in filing errors and that ceremony without documentation can vanish from record. Number 11. Abraham Lincoln once literally jumped out a window to block a vote. As an Illinois legislator, he and a couple of fellow Whigs showed up at the State House, then leapt from a first-floor window to avoid being counted for quorum. The Democrats proceeded anyway, leaving Lincoln's gambit looking theatrical and futile. The episode captures 19th century hardball politics, where procedural stunts weren't just rhetorical, they were sometimes acrobatic. Number 12. Spartan bridal haircut tradition. In ancient Sparta, brides had their hair shorn close, sometimes to the scalp, then were dressed in men's clothing and left in a dark room to await their husbands. The ritual symbolized a transition from maidenhood to married life and eased Spartan men, reared in male-dominated military society, into heterosocial intimacy. Severe by modern standards, the practice reflected a culture that prized austerity, role adaptation, and stark rites of passage. Number 13. Germany's Paris gun legacy. In World War I, Germany deployed the colossal Paris gun, shelling Paris from about 75 miles away. The weapon required rail transport and a dedicated concrete firing platform. Barrel wear was so extreme that crews fired shells in ascending sizes to match the expanding bore. After roughly 65 shots, the barrel was done. Terrifying for its reach, it caused relatively few deaths per salvo, but immense psychological shock. Number 14. The Javelin controversy. On October 24, 1955, Finnish poet-athlete Pentti Sarikoski reportedly hurled a javelin 99.52 meters, farther than anyone before, but gripped it at the end of the shaft instead of the middle. Judges ruled the technique illegal and invalidated the throw. The incident underscores how equipment rules shape records. Performance isn't just distance, but compliance with standardized grips, weights, and forms that keep feats comparable, and sometimes erase astonishing outliers. Number 15. A Spanish town where 700 residents are named Japon. In Coria del Rio near Seville, population approximately 28,000, many locals carry the surname Japon, tracing to a 1613 to 1620 Japanese diplomatic mission led by Samurai Hasekura Tsunanaga under Date Masamune. Some envoys settled instead of returning, integrating into Andalusian life and adopting Japan to honor their origins. 4 centuries on, descendants preserve a living thread between early modern Japan's outreach and Spanish local identity. Number 16. Yogurt's roots stretch back millennia to Central Asia and the Middle East, where nomadic herders stored milk in animal skin or stomach containers. Natural bacteria fermented it into a tangy, thick food that kept longer than fresh milk and was easier to digest. A first-century mention by Pliny the Elder notes peoples who thickened milk with agreeable acidity, showing that it had already spread widely across ancient cultures. Number 17. The movies often show someone freezing on a landmine, surviving only if they don't lift their foot. In reality, most anti-personnel mines are pressure-activated and detonate when weight is applied, sometimes as little as 5 to 20 kilograms. The explosion happens on contact, not release, leaving no cinematic standoff. The grim truth: avoidance and proper clearance are the real defenses. Stepping on one usually means it's already too late. Number 18. Some people can voluntarily make a low rumbling in their ears by contracting the tensor tympani, a tiny middle ear muscle that dampens loud sounds like chewing and shouting. When consciously tensed, it vibrates structures around the eardrum, creating a private thunder-like hum only the person hears. This rare party trick highlights built-in ear protection mechanisms and the unusual ability of a few to control them at will. Number 19. Asthma is surprisingly common among Olympians, more so than in the general population, because many elite sports expose airways to triggers. Cold air events, speed skating, skiing, chlorinated environments, swimming, and endurance races outdoors, running, cycling, can provoke exercise-induced bronchoconstriction. With careful diagnosis, medication, and training plans, athletes manage symptoms and still win at the highest level. proving chronic conditions need not block world-class performance or gold medal dreams. Number 20. Commotio cordis is a rare, often fatal event, where a blunt strike, like a baseball or lacrosse ball, hits directly over the heart during a tiny 20 to 40 millisecond window before electrical reset. The impact can trigger ventricular fibrillation, halting effective pumping. The victim's fitness doesn't matter. Response time does. Immediate CPR and an AED within minutes are critical, which is why teams emphasize emergency drills and sideline defibrillators. Number 21. U.S. Election Day lands on a Tuesday in November due to 1845 logistics. In a rural agrarian nation, Sunday was for worship, Monday for traveling to town by horse or wagon, Tuesday for voting, and Wednesday for market day. November followed harvest yet preceded winter roads. The tradition stuck, even as modern life changed, because altering federal election timing requires political will and statutory reform. Number 22. Ice cream taster John Harrison spent decades at Dreyer's/Edie's safeguarding flavor and texture in every batch. His palate was so valuable, the company insured his tongue for $1 million. Like a sommelier, he tasted and spat, sampling staggering volumes while avoiding palate-dulling foods like garlic or spicy dishes. His meticulous sensory standards kept products consistent and helped define what millions came to expect from premium ice cream. Number 23. Babies can't shiver effectively, so they rely on brown adipose tissue, brown fat, to stay warm. Unlike white fat, which stores energy, brown fat is packed with mitochondria that burn fuel to generate heat, non-shivering thermogenesis. Concentrated around the neck and shoulders, it helps newborns maintain body temperature. Adults retain small deposits, but as our nervous system matures, shivering and behavior take over as primary warming strategies. Number 24. In Germany, Donald Duck outshines Mickey thanks to translator Erika Fuchs, who reimagined Donald in mid-20th century comics with sharp wit, satire, and playful wordcraft. Her German dialogue layered puns, cultural references, and philosophical asides that adults appreciated as much as children. The reinvention made Donald a cultural staple, more neurotic, clever, and lovable, cementing a uniquely German fandom that often prefers Fuchs's comic persona over animated portrayals. Number 25. Cowboy Load describes carrying a 6-shot single-action revolver with only 5 chambers loaded, leaving the hammer resting on an empty chamber. 19th century guns like the Colt single-action army had a hammer-mounted firing pin. A drop or bump could fire a chamber under the hammer. The rule of thumb, load 1, skip 1, load 4, prevented accidental discharges, preserving safety while keeping 5 rounds ready. Number 26. At post-war Auschwitz trials, SS physician Hans Munk was uniquely acquitted after survivors testified he refused selections for the gas chambers and covertly aided prisoners. Accounts describe him falsifying diagnoses and providing humane treatment under a murderous regime, risking punishment to spare lives. His case doesn't absolve the system's crimes but shows an outlier, a doctor who upheld a medical oath amid pervasive atrocity. Number 27. Some sharks enter tonic immobility, an inert trance-like state, when flipped onto their backs, remaining still for minutes. Scientists use this reflex to examine, tag, and sample animals safely, though prolonged immobilization can be dangerous. The exact cause remains debated, involving sensory and vestibular cues. While it looks like hypnosis, it's a biological response, not a trick, revealing unusual vulnerabilities in creatures famed for power and motion. Number 28. Ötzi the Iceman, a naturally mummified man from around 3,250 BCE found in the Alps, bears 61 tattoos, simple lines and crosses made by rubbing charcoal into skin cuts. Many align with joints in the lower back, near sites of wear or injury, suggesting therapeutic purposes akin to proto-acupuncture rather than decoration. His ink shows humans have used permanent body markings for health rituals, as well as identity for millennia. Number 29. Halibut undergo a wild metamorphosis. They hatch looking like typical fish, one eye on each side, and swim upright. As they grow, one eye migrates across the skull to join the other, the body flattens, and the fish adopts a sideways, bottom-dwelling life on the seafloor. With both eyes up, halibut watch for prey and predators above while camouflaging below, an evolutionary redesign tailored to ambush and survival. Number 30. Texas largely runs on its own grid, the ERCOT interconnection, separate from the U.S. East and West grids. Early utilities kept power flows within state lines to avoid federal regulation, fostering local control that became cultural identity. The trade-off is resilience. During extreme demand or outages, importing substantial power is harder. Independence offers flexibility and pride, but stresses reveal the risks of limited interconnection and reserve margins. Number 31. In the Ottoman Empire, sultans employed deaf and mute servants in their courts to prevent eavesdropping and leaks of sensitive information. These attendants were seen as symbols of discretion and loyalty, ensuring state secrets stayed private. Over time, they developed their own sign language centuries before formalized versions existed. Their silent communication became part of palace life, an early example of adapting perceived disability into political advantage. Number 32. The BT Tower in London stood at 620 feet, visible from miles away, yet it was officially non-existent for 28 years. From 1965 to 1993, it appeared on no public maps due to national security classification. Even though it had an observation deck and restaurant, the British government refused to acknowledge it. Only when an MP publicly confirmed it in Parliament did the absurd secrecy finally end. Number 33. Author Joe Hill, real name Joseph Hillstrom King, kept his famous lineage secret for a decade. As the son of horror legend Stephen King, he used a pseudonym to ensure his early work stood on its own merit. Even his agent didn't know his true identity. By the time readers discovered the connection, Hill had already earned awards and acclaim. Success built not on a name, but undeniable talent. Number 34. Denise Rossi won $1.3 million in the California lottery in 1996 and secretly divorced her husband 11 days later to keep the money hidden. 2 years afterward, he discovered her deception and sued for fraud. A judge ruled in his favor, awarding him the entire jackpot as punishment. Rossi's attempt to conceal her winnings backfired spectacularly, turning a life-changing fortune into a life-ruining lesson in greed. Number 35. Marvin Heemeyer's Killdozer rampage in Granby, Colorado, was the result of years of resentment. After disputes with town officials, he secretly armored a bulldozer with layers of steel and concrete, creating an unstoppable machine. On June 4, 2004, he destroyed buildings linked to his grievances, causing $7 million in damage before taking his own life. His private obsession exploded into one of America's most infamous revenge rampages. Number 36. In 2004, police exploring a hidden section of the Paris catacombs discovered a secret underground cinema, complete with electricity, a bar, and a dining area. When authorities returned days later, everything had vanished, leaving only a note reading, "Do not try to find us." The site is believed to have been created by the clandestine urban explorer group Les UX, known for artistic and subversive underground projects. Number 37. Jeffrey Allen Manchester, known as Roofman, escaped prison in 2004 and hid inside a Toys R Us store in North Carolina for months. He entered through the roof and built a hidden living space, surviving on baby food and toys. He exercised at a nearby gym and monitored employees with a baby monitor. When discovered, his bizarre double life captivated national headlines as one of the strangest fugitive tales. Number 38. In 1997, players who beat the Lost World Jurassic Park video game unlocked a secret live-action clip of Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm. Instead of praise, he scolded players for wasting time and urged them to go outside and meet people. The sarcastic Easter egg became legendary, blending humor, self-awareness, and life advice, cementing Goldblum's reputation for witty irreverence even beyond the silver screen. Number 39. The United Kingdom's King's Messengers, an elite corps of couriers, have quietly carried diplomatic bags around the world since the 15th century. These sealed pouches, protected under international law, cannot be opened by airport security or foreign governments. However, while the bags have immunity, The couriers themselves do not. Traveling incognito in civilian clothes, they blend with passengers, ensuring the world's most sensitive documents arrive safely. Number 40. Beneath downtown Los Angeles lies a maze of pedestrian tunnels built in the early 1900s to connect courthouses and government buildings. Over time, they transported mobsters, prisoners, and even cash between banks. During the Cold War, they doubled as fallout shelters. Later, they housed homeless populations and film crews. These subterranean corridors tell a hidden story of LA's evolution, part history, part Hollywood, all beneath the streets. Number 41. After World War II, a Kodak employee noticed mysterious fogging on photographic film. Tracing it back, he discovered fallout from the secret 1945 Trinity nuclear test in New Mexico had contaminated materials all the way in New York. He kept the finding private to avoid panic, but revealed it after the test was declassified. His accidental discovery linked everyday industry with one of history's most consequential experiments. Number 42. In 1978, an architecture student studying New York City Corp Center uncovered a design flaw that could have caused the skyscraper to collapse in strong winds. Engineers verified the danger, but kept it secret to avoid panic, racing to reinforce the structure before Hurricane Ella approached. Repairs were completed in time, and disaster was narrowly avoided. The public only learned of the potential catastrophe decades later. Number 43. Modern color printers secretly mark each page with invisible yellow dots, encoding the printer's serial number and time of printing, a system called printer steganography. Designed to help law enforcement trace counterfeit money and forgeries, these microdots are visible only under blue light. While intended as a security measure, it means most people's printers silently record a traceable fingerprint of every document ever printed. Number 44. In 1955, Sears accidentally printed the wrong number for its Call Santa Christmas hotline, connecting callers to the U.S. Air Defense Command instead. Rather than disappoint children, officers played along, tracking Santa's journey across the skies. The joyful mistake birthed the NORAD Santa Tracker tradition, which continues today, an annual blend of holiday spirit, military precision, and wholesome public relations born from a typo. Number 45. In 1973, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker reported being abducted by aliens with lobster-like claws in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Police doubted them and left a recorder running when the men thought they were alone. The hidden tape captured them panicking and reliving the encounter in terrified detail. Whether extraterrestrial or not, the recording remains one of UFO history's most compelling pieces of audio evidence. Number 46. In the 1980s, the U.S. Navy formed a secret unit called Red Cell, composed of elite ex-SEALs, to test military base security by acting as terrorists. They breached bases, planted fake bombs, stole classified files, and even kidnapped officers to prove vulnerabilities. Their successes embarrassed top brass, but led to massive reforms, demonstrating that sometimes the best defense starts with an inside attack. Number 47. The White House employs a chief calligrapher who oversees all official handwriting, from invitations to proclamations. This prestigious artist ensures every document reflects presidential dignity through flawless penmanship. The position pays over $100,000 annually and combines tradition, artistry, and precision. Each stroke is more than ink. It's diplomacy, ceremony, and presentation embodied in script, preserving centuries-old decorum in an increasingly digital age. Number 48. Hospitals use coded announcements to prevent panic. Code Pink is among the most serious, signaling a missing or abducted infant. When called, staff immediately lock down exits, monitor hallways, and search every room. The term keeps the public calm while mobilizing an emergency response. It's one of many discrete hospital codes designed to maintain order when every second and every heartbeat matters most. Number 49. During Oliver Cromwell's Puritan rule in 1644, England banned Christmas altogether, calling it a pagan, wasteful celebration. Soldiers patrolled streets, confiscated festive foods, and punished anyone caught celebrating. The suppression lasted over a decade, fueling widespread resentment until King Charles II restored the holiday in 1660. The ban remains one of history's most infamous examples of government overreach into private joy. Number 50. Beneath a Boston piano store lies Steinert Hall, an ornate underground concert venue built in 1896 with near-perfect acoustics. Once a cultural hotspot hosting world-class musicians, it was sealed in 1942 due to fire code concerns. Forgotten for decades, it now serves as storage, its grand arches and murals gathering dust. Occasionally rediscovered, it stands as a haunting echo of Boston's hidden artistic past. Number 1. In the months following Kurt Cobain's tragic passing in 1994, Seattle saw a remarkable social phenomenon. Calls to suicide prevention hotlines surged, while actual suicides in the area dropped significantly. Local media played a crucial role by emphasizing mental health resources, crisis support, and destigmatizing discussions around depression, marking one of the first times media coverage was proven to help save lives after a celebrity death. Number 2. In 1990, PepsiCo introduced neon-colored cool cans, featuring bright, edgy designs. However, customers soon noticed that when two cans were stacked a certain way, the bold lettering appeared to spell out the word sex. Outraged parents and media backlash led Pepsi to pull the cans from distribution. The company denied any intentional subliminal messaging, calling the coincidence an accidental artifact of their graphic layout design process. Number 3. In February 2023, two notorious orcas named Port and Starboard stunned marine biologists by killing at least 17 sharks off South Africa's coast in just one day. What shocked experts most was the precision. Every shark's liver had been expertly removed and eaten, a sign of surgical-like hunting skill. The orcas' behavior revealed their remarkable intelligence and growing dominance as apex predators adapting to new strategies. Number 4. Until 1929, the world couldn't agree on the exact length of a nautical mile. That year, it was standardized at 1,851.8 meters, based on dividing Earth's circumference into 360 degrees, and each degree into 60 minutes. Thus, 1 nautical mile equals 1 minute of latitude. This measurement remains vital in navigation, aligning perfectly with the geometry of Earth rather than arbitrary land-based distances like kilometers or miles. Number 5. Between 1992 and 1993, an E. coli outbreak linked to undercooked beef patties at Jack in the Box fast food restaurants killed 4 children and sickened hundreds across the United States. The tragedy exposed severe flaws in food safety standards and meat inspection. Public outrage forced major reforms in food handling laws, leading to stricter USDA oversight and the creation of the Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point system. Number 6. Until 1986, Turkey had no film copyright law, allowing filmmakers to freely copy and remix Western movies. This led to wild bootleg films like Three Giant Men, featuring Captain America and Mexican wrestler El Santo battling an evil, chain-smoking Spider-Man, all scored with stolen James Bond music. The bizarre mashups became cult classics, illustrating how Turkish cinema creatively thrived under unregulated and chaotic artistic freedom. Number 7. The French submarine Curie met a strange fate. On December 20th, 1914, it was sunk while infiltrating the Austro-Hungarian Navy's main base at Pola. The Austro-Hungarians later raised it, repaired it, and renamed it SMU-14, using it for the rest of World War I. After the war ended, the sub was returned to France, a rare case of a war machine serving both sides. Number 8. Recent research shows that seizures worsen by hijacking one of the brain's natural learning mechanisms. Essentially, when neurons repeatedly fire abnormally during a seizure, they strengthen those same destructive pathways. A twisted form of practice makes perfect. This discovery has reshaped epilepsy research, suggesting that blocking this learning process could help prevent the brain from reinforcing the neurological circuits responsible for chronic seizure activity. Number 9. In 1803, Spanish nurse Isabel Zendel became the world's first public health nurse during the Balmis expedition, which aimed to spread smallpox vaccination across the Spanish Empire. She helped protect over 500,000 people by accompanying orphaned children carrying live cowpox samples on ships to the Americas. Only recently has she received formal recognition, with a Madrid hospital now named in her honor for her humanitarian work. Number 10. In Madagascar, the Malagasy people practice a sacred tradition called Famadihana, or the turning of the bones. Every 5 to 7 years, families exhume their ancestors' remains, wrap them in fresh silk shrouds, and joyfully dance with the bodies before reburial. This ceremony reinforces family unity, honors the dead, and reflects a unique worldview in which death is seen as a continuation rather than an end. Number 11. During World War II, the U.S. Army formed special loyalty companies for soldiers suspected of subversion, disloyalty, or Axis sympathy. These units were closely monitored and often sent to isolated assignments. The idea was to segregate potentially untrustworthy troops rather than discharge them outright. It reflected wartime paranoia and the early roots of Cold War-era suspicion that later shaped McCarthyism and American internal security policies. Number 12. The term sneakers originally described how rubber soles made shoes nearly silent, compared to the loud clack of leather dress shoes. First coined in the late 1800s, the term was popularized by advertisers promoting new rubber-soled footwear as perfect for sneaking around. The comfort, grip, and stealth of these early sneakers helped pave the way for modern athletic shoes, transforming them into both fashion and sport essentials. Number 13. The Sciencers, founded in 1929, were one of the earliest organized science fiction fan clubs. They met regularly to discuss futuristic ideas and stories, pioneering modern sci-fi fandom. Led by Warren Fitzgerald, notably their only black member, the group also included Mort Weisinger, who later co-created Aquaman and Green Arrow. Their meetings helped shape science fiction's golden age and community-based fan culture worldwide. Number 14. When the U.S. Department of Transportation evaluates new safety regulations, it assigns a statistical value of about $13.7 million to a single human life. This calculation helps determine whether a proposed rule, such as improving seatbelts or airbag systems, is cost-effective. While controversial, it's an economic necessity used across agencies to balance potential lives saved against billions in costs during policy and infrastructure decisions. Number 15. Before Julius Caesar reformed the Roman calendar, the year had only 355 days. To align with the solar year, priests occasionally added a special extra month called Mercedonius. However, this process was often abused. Political leaders could lengthen or shorten years to favor allies or extend their terms. As a result, citizens outside Rome often didn't know the exact date for weeks at a time. Number 16. The lost city of Petra in Jordan was rediscovered in 1812 by Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. To gain access to the hidden valley, he learned flawless Arabic, adopted local Bedouin customs, and posed as an Islamic scholar. His careful disguise allowed him to earn the tribe's trust and witness the majestic red rock city carved into cliffs, a breathtaking archaeological rediscovery that stunned the Western world. Number 17. William Shakespeare's grave in Stratford-upon-Avon carries an ominous curse warning anyone who moves his bones that they'll be cursed. Despite this, a 2016 ground-penetrating radar scan of the grave revealed a shocking mystery. His skull appears to be missing. Researchers believe grave robbers may have stolen it centuries ago, possibly as a macabre relic, leaving behind one of English literature's strangest historical mysteries. Number 18. In 2012, Spanish golfer José Manuel Lara was disqualified from the BMW International Open after a bizarre breach of etiquette. His caddy realized they had 15 clubs, one over the legal limit, and tried to hide the extra club in a bush. Officials discovered the deception, and Lara was expelled. The incident became infamous in golf circles as an example of rule-bending gone wrong. Number 19. The sun grebe, also known as the sun grebe, is an unusual tropical bird where the male carries chicks in small pouches on his body until they're ready to survive alone. This behavior, extremely rare among birds, led scientists to nickname it the marsupial bird. The sun grebe's gentle parenting style demonstrates a remarkable evolutionary adaptation for survival in the dense wetlands and slow-moving rivers it inhabits. Number 20. The first capital of Illinois was a small settlement named Kaskaskia, located along the Mississippi River. Once a bustling colonial hub, the town now has a population of just 21 people due to repeated flooding and the river's shifting course, which isolated it from the mainland. Today, it remains a fascinating relic, a ghost town with historic buildings still whispering stories of early American frontier life. Number 21. In 2014, David Hester, known from Storage Wars, sued A&E Television, claiming producers planted valuable items in storage lockers to boost entertainment value before auctions. Hester alleged this manipulated the show's authenticity and gave certain buyers unfair advantages. After the lawsuit, A&E fired him from the show. The scandal sparked debate about reality TV's ethics and how much of it is truly real. Number 22. Director Wes Anderson is known for his strict sense of fairness. Beginning with his 1998 film Rushmore, he introduced a flat-fee pay system where every actor earns the same rate, regardless of fame. Bill Murray agreed to match the pay of then-unknown Jason Schwartzman, saying he'd rather do the film for love than money. The tradition continued, emphasizing Anderson's creative equality and collaborative spirit. Number 23. Surveys show that only about 1/3 of Americans floss their teeth daily, despite dental experts emphasizing its importance for preventing gum disease and bad breath. Most people either forget, find it tedious, or falsely believe brushing alone is enough. Dentists warn that skipping flossing allows bacteria to thrive between teeth, leading to plaque buildup, cavities, and even heart-related health risks linked to chronic gum inflammation. Number 24. The legendary revenge of the 47 Ronin is one of Japan's most celebrated tales of honor. After their lord was forced to commit seppuku by a corrupt official, 47 masterless samurai waited a full year before avenging him. They killed the official, turned themselves in, and then committed ritual suicide. Their loyalty and sacrifice became a symbol of Bushido, the samurai code of honor and duty. Number 25. A Canadian engineer built a working replica of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, that could only be lifted by the worthy. The trick? It used an electromagnet controlled by a fingerprint sensor that recognized the iron rings worn by Canadian engineers, part of a tradition called the Ritual of the Calling of an Engineer. Only ring bearers could lift it, creating a real-world version of Marvel's mythic test. Number 26. The world's largest searchlight sits atop University City Hall in Missouri. Its incredible beam can be seen up to 30 miles away on clear nights. Originally installed for civic events and celebrations, the light became a local landmark symbolizing pride and progress. Over the decades, it's illuminated countless ceremonies, serving as a reminder of early 20th century America's fascination with light, technology, and monumental public displays. Number 27. Artist James Turrell owns a 2-mile-wide volcanic crater in Arizona called Roden Crater, which he's transforming into a monumental artwork. The project, begun in the 1970s, aligns tunnels and chambers with celestial events, turning the crater into a naked-eye observatory of light and space. Decades in the making, Turrell's work blends art, astronomy, and architecture to create one of the most ambitious land art projects ever conceived. Number 28. Geologist Hale, often misspelled eel, Jackson once used Jell-O to model how the Hawaiian Islands formed. By heating and compressing gelatin, he could visualize how molten magma pushed up through Earth's crust to form volcanic islands. His creative use of a household dessert helped demonstrate complex geological processes in classrooms, proving that even playful, simple materials can explain the grandeur of planetary science. Number 29. From 1877 to 1878, Germany conducted Operation Nicaragua, dispatching warships after a dispute involving a German consul. A shooting and a marriage quarrel spiraled into an international crisis. The event highlighted the imperial arrogance of European powers at the time, willing to deploy military force over personal slights abroad. It remains a little-known episode in the history of colonial intervention and 19th century diplomacy. Number 30. In 1909, Americans briefly tried to replace the beloved teddy bear with a new national toy, a stuffed opossum named Billy Possum, inspired by President William Howard Taft's fondness for the animal. Despite heavy marketing, Billy Possum failed to capture hearts like Teddy Roosevelt's bear had. The toy's awkward appearance and odd origin doomed it to obscurity, becoming a curious footnote in toy history. Number 31. When The Karate Kid, 1984, was released in Japan, It was renamed Best Kid to avoid confusion with another local film already titled Karate Kid. Despite the change, the movie became a massive hit, inspiring Japanese audiences with its blend of discipline, mentorship, and redemption. The cultural impact transcended borders, helping popularize karate and the idea of perseverance through humility and inner strength worldwide. Number 32. Anaralia refers to the inability to generate internal auditory imagery, meaning people with it can't hear songs, voices, or imagine sounds in their minds. On the opposite end, those with hyperauralia experience vividly clear imagined sounds as if real. Both conditions are closely linked to aphantasia, which affects visual imagination. These differences reveal how uniquely each brain constructs inner sensory experiences and mental simulations. Number 33. In 2018, the African nation formerly known as Swaziland officially changed its name to Eswatini. The decision, made by King Mswati III, reflected a desire to embrace the native Siswati language and reduce confusion with Switzerland. Eswatini means land of the Swazis. The rebranding was part of a broader effort to assert post-colonial identity, restore cultural pride, and strengthen the nation's indigenous heritage on the global stage. Number 34. Thailand's eccentric King Bhumibol Adulyadej bestowed his beloved dog, Air Chief Marshal Fufu, with an official rank in the Royal Thai Air Force. The poodle often attended state banquets dressed in miniature uniforms and even shook paws with diplomats. Fufu's high-profile appearances highlighted both the king's playful personality and the surreal blending of tradition, humor, and royal pomp that characterizes Thailand's modern monarchy. Number 35. Rob Fulop, the creator of the controversial 1992 video game Night Trap, later tried to redeem his reputation by designing wholesome pet-themed games. After Night Trap was condemned by figures like children's TV host Captain Kangaroo for its alleged suggestiveness, Fulop shifted focus to games emphasizing care and cuteness. His pivot showed how moral panics in gaming often push creators toward completely new directions. Number 36. The second verse of Rihanna's 2006 hit SOS is made entirely of 1980s song titles woven into sentences. Lyrics like Take On Me, I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight, Head Over Heels, and You Keep Me Hanging On form a playful homage to pop history. The clever writing earned praise for creatively blending nostalgia with modern R&B, showing Rihanna's early knack for musical wit. Number 37. During the 2022 holiday season, a catastrophic winter storm crippled Southwest Airlines' outdated crew scheduling software. Between December 21st and 30th, nearly half of all flights were canceled, leaving crew members stranded and travelers furious. The meltdown cost the airline over $1.1 billion in losses. The debacle exposed the fragility of legacy airline systems and triggered calls for massive technology overhauls across the industry. Number 38. When nylon stockings were invented in the 1930s, they became a fashion sensation. But World War II halted production as nylon was redirected to military use for parachutes and ropes. This left women without stockings, leading to a creative wartime trend. They used eyebrow pencils or liquid stockings to draw seam lines on their legs, maintaining the illusion of nylons even during fabric rationing. Number 39. Every second, around 65 billion neutrinos, nearly massless subatomic particles, pass through every square centimeter of Earth's surface, including your body. These ghost particles rarely interact with matter, traveling through planets, stars, and even lead walls without stopping. Produced by nuclear reactions in stars and supernovas, neutrinos are vital to understanding the universe's structure and the mysterious physics of dark energy. Number 40. In the ancient Babylonian creation epic Enuma Elish, the Milky Way is said to have formed from the severed tail of Tiamat, a primordial dragon-like sea goddess slain by the god Marduk. This myth symbolized cosmic order emerging from chaos and water, reflecting how early civilizations explained celestial phenomena through poetic and terrifying imagery that merged astronomy, theology, and storytelling in one enduring legend. Number 41. A pomato is a fascinating hybrid plant created by grafting a tomato plant onto a potato rootstock. Since both belong to the nightshade family, The graft allows a single plant to grow tomatoes above ground and potatoes below. Developed for urban and space-efficient farming, Pomatos showcase agricultural innovation, blending science and sustainability to maximize food output without needing extra soil or farmland. Number 42, the Mariski Medication Adherence Scale, MMAS-8, a simple 8-question survey used to measure how well patients stick to prescribed medications, can cost up to $100,000 to license for research use. Though short and straightforward, its high fees have sparked criticism from scientists who argue that essential health tools should be more accessible. The controversy highlights tensions between academic research and proprietary medical measurement systems. Number 43. Leafcutter ants and similar species cultivate fungi using their own dead as fertilizer. The ants meticulously gather plant material, chew it into pulp, and use decomposing bodies to nourish fungal gardens, their primary food source. This practice, resembling primitive agriculture, showcases astonishing insect intelligence and cooperation, revealing that organized farming existed in nature millions of years before humans invented the plow. Number 44. 73 years after his abduction in 1951, Luis Armando Albino was finally reunited with his brother in 2024. He had been taken as a 6-year-old child and lived unaware of his origins for decades. His niece's DNA test unexpectedly matched him with surviving relatives. Their emotional reunion proved how modern genetic technology can heal generations-old wounds and uncover truths once lost to time. Number 45. Golf legend Jack Nicklaus not only won 18 major championships across his career, but also finished in second place another 18 times, a record of consistent brilliance unmatched in sports history. His near victories are often cited as evidence of his focus, patience, and composure under pressure. Nicklaus's enduring dominance over 25 years helped define professional golf's golden age and inspired countless players worldwide. Number 46. Chinese game studio NetEase, known for developing and managing major titles like World of Warcraft and Overwatch in China from 2008 to 2023, also operates multiple pig farms. The company uses AI-driven data systems, similar to gaming servers, to monitor livestock health and efficiency. This unusual diversification shows how tech infrastructure can bridge entertainment and agriculture, blending virtual intelligence with real-world production. Number 47. A hotel in Turkey was ingeniously built above ancient ruins, with its rooms suspended from steel columns so as not to disturb the archaeological remains below. Guests sleep surrounded by history, peering down through glass floors at the ruins. The design perfectly balances preservation and modern luxury, allowing visitors to experience ancient architecture without damaging it. A triumph of thoughtful engineering and cultural respect. Number 48. Child actor Jackie Cooper remains the youngest person ever nominated for the Best Actor Oscar. At just 9 years old, he received the nomination during the 4th Academy Awards for his performance in Skippy, 1931. Cooper's charm and emotional depth stunned audiences and critics alike. Despite growing up in Hollywood's chaos, he went on to have a steady career as an actor and director. Number 49. 8 major languages, English, Lithuanian, French, German, Polish, Russian, Hebrew, and Norwegian, use unique visual mnemonics to represent the phases of the moon. These symbolic patterns help learners recall waxing, waning, and full moon cycles. The multilingual consistency reflects humanity's universal fascination with lunar rhythms, linking ancient agricultural calendars, religious rituals, and modern education through a shared visual language of the cosmos. Number 50. Fort Hood, Texas, originally named after Confederate General John Bell Hood, was renamed Fort Cavazos in 2023 to honor General Richard E. Cavazos, the first Mexican-American 4-star general and Medal of Honor recipient. However, in 2025, the base's name was controversially reverted back to Fort Hood after internal military debates. The back and forth reflects America's ongoing struggle over historical memory, heritage, and representation.